How's it going, everyone? This is Will, the founder of Bookji, and we are a new social reading platform to help students talk about books, find books they're interested in, and a whole lot more. In this video, I wanted to take you through kind of the basics of the platform and show you what you can do on it, how it can help your students in building a reading culture, teaching them digital citizenship, and a lot of other really cool things. So let's jump right in. This is a student's profile that they can have on the platform. So this is just an example, but they can create a username, they can indicate their genre interests. On Bookji, it has the look and feel of social media, so they can make posts about the books they're reading with GIFs or polls to talk about books, just trying to help students, be more expressive and showcase their sense of humor, or just talk about books in their own way. And so, you can see what your friends have read. So I can see like, okay, my friend said this book is fire or mind blowing. When I follow at people in my class, what's on my to read list? What am I reading now? I can create book lists about my top 10 favorite books. There's a bunch of different things like that students can do on their profile to customize it. We also have these things called topics, which are similar to Facebook groups, and they allow students to explore book-related content. So, for example, if I like superheroes, I can follow this topic and I can get posts about superhero books in my school. And, I can see one I like, I can react to it, I can repost it to my profile, I can send it over to my friend, basically creating like a really conducive environment for talking about books in school, helping students with that in a way that is modern and familiar to them. With these topics, you can also, see book lists. It's not just about posts, there's a bunch of other things in them as well. But going back to the posts really quickly, whenever a student makes a post or sends a message to their friend, the content is moderated by AI. So they can't say anything inappropriate or off topic. I can give an example of this. And if I try to post, say, my address, this is sort of a fake address. But if I try to make this post on Bookji, it'll analyze the post and it'll come back and it'll tell me that I entered personal details. Now, you can completely customize these messages that we're sending and showcasing to the students. So you can change the text, you can change the image, you can use a real world example if you think that is better and more helps your student understand the dangers of entering personal information online. So you can do that. We detect different types. We detect like profanity, toxicity. So if a student types in bullying, you can have a different message than the message that just appeared to address what happens when you post something toxic on the internet and the ramifications of that, or give them a reminder. We also give you reports about the digital citizenship features, and so you can see if a student is spamming it or and then cut them off from posting and take appropriate steps. So those are some of the ways that it's a very safe platform, and it does a very good job with the AI moderation. Those are some of the social features of the platform. We also have a lot of discovery tools. So one of those discovery tools is this book map. And, I can zoom in on places, and what it shows is the setting of books. So if I zoom in on London, I like this example because it's very indicative of how exact the locations get. So like this book takes place at the MI6 building. If I come up here, this book's set at the London Eye. I can come up to like, a few places I know, like 221B Baker Street. That's where Sherlock Holmes's flat in London is. And you can come over here to King's Cross Station, platform 9 3/4. So if you have a student that hasn't wants to read a book about a place they've never been to, or they can zoom in on areas close to where they live or where they're from. It's a really great way of finding books visually. We also have a bunch of other discovery tools as well, like these badges. And so students can earn badges on Bookji, but they're a little different than traditional badges. So these are more like goal-oriented, I would say. And so, if I want to be a creative problem solver, this is the goal that might be interesting to me. these levels right here are telling the student, here's the work that you need to do to achieve that. So if you really want to be a creative problem solver, you read one book and you start out as a novice, and you really have to read 50 books or more to be a grandmaster, and to really learn anything, you have to study it a lot. So that's what we're saying to the students here. You have to read 50 books in order to be a grandmaster. We tell you why each book gets the badge it does. So this is The Count of Monte Cristo. This is my favorite book. And, if you had a student that didn't know why they learned the lesson about creative problem solver, we give them a little description. If you have a student that's like, why are we reading The Count of Monte Cristo? Well, there are lots of little skills you can learn from the book. Creative problem solver, strategic planner, having unbreakable resolve. These are all really important lessons, and especially trying to highlight, lessons with fiction books is, when I was in middle school and high school, I didn't really associate fiction with being something I could take lessons away from. And oftentimes it can even be a better tool than nonfiction to learn things from, because the stories are really relatable and interesting and grab you in. And so, for students that are motivated by learning and self-improvement, then this is a great feature for them, and it can really help them. And so we also have challenges that you can make. So you can create questions on here. You can create questions about a specific book, like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. You can do a 40 book challenge, or however many book challenge. You could have students read 5 books from a specific list that you set out for them. We also have a lot of settings for the school. So you can create administrators, you can add teachers, you can add classes on here. There are tons of school permissions. So any feature you don't want, you can disable. If I don't want the challenges, I can disable it. If I don't want messages, even though it's moderated by AI, sometimes, I might not want them messaging. You can disable that. If you have younger students and it's a lot of information for them, you can disable every feature. And then as you're able to teach them about responsible posting, then you can enable the posting. If you're able to teach them about messaging online, DMing, those kinds of things, then you can enable those features. So it also can be a rollout tool, and you can basically decide whatever content is shown to the students, what they're able to post, what they're able to message, what they're able to see. There's a lot of different settings. You can upload your library catalog on here as well. So anywhere there's this blue check mark on a book, it means that the book is in your library. So we give you stats about the library, telling you, what is the most clicked on book that I don't have in my catalog. A bunch of different analytics about the catalog and about what students are interacting with on the platform. This is another great feature to help students find books. It's called our genre search. And so, what I can do here is I can mix and match different genres. So I want a mystery book that is set in ancient history, that is about heroin. And, boom, there we go. There's the books that match all those categories. And so if a student really wants to read something specific, they can search that way. And it's a really good tool for finding books. So that's sort of like a really quick overview of the platform and things you can do on it. I hope you enjoyed learning more about Bookji.